Greetings, the Hijabi Gamer here, and this video is a remake of a video I posted this morning. You might have noticed I did post a video, but then I took it down. This is because I noticed there was a stutter in the video. Now, at first I thought it was because when I uploaded it at home, my internet isn't very good, but when I got to work, I noticed that there was still the same stutter, so I think it might be the camera. I do have a kind of cheap Logitech camera. You'll notice in a lot of my videos, the ones where it's like this, it says Logi in the corner because I'm using the Logitech software. I'm hoping it's just the connection. I did, however, pick up a new camera. This is an Elgato one. I figured with my Elgato capture card. It was expensive though, so I hope it's just the connection or something so I don't need to keep this, but we'll see. It is a better camera than the one I have though, so I might end up keeping it anyway. But I decided to remake my video. It was meant to be a kind of fun, light-hearted video about video games. It's Thursday. It's not Friday yet. You know, even though I've already completed today's day of work, it's still Thursday. So I wanted to make something fun because, honestly, I enjoy talking about video games in general. You know, when I found out Disparu was playing Destiny 2 and playing it more than Elden Ring, it was like, dude, can we just talk Destiny 2? And Destiny, especially when he mentioned that he likes to do the campaign at a lower light level, so he enjoys the challenge. It was like, awesome. So this video was about my Corpus characters. Now, if you've been following the community tab on YouTube, you might have noticed that I've been posting biographies of characters. I did create the Corpus, that's something from Warframe, but these characters in particular are my own creation, except their names. Now, I know a lot of people who watch my YouTube channel don't play Warframe and have not played the new War. Now, in the new War, Alad V, I've mentioned Alad V a few times, but Alad V, there's another character named Viso, and he gets his name wrong constantly. So his name is Viso, but Alad V keeps calling him Vico, Tico, and Tiso. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny and kind of ironic if Vico, Tico, and Tiso all turned out to be cooler characters than Viso? So initially, it was just me, when I was playing Warframe, referring to, you know, running Corpus invasions. You can run missions where you're an ally of the Corpus in Warframe. I would refer to the characters around me as Tico, Vico, and Tiso. But then on a whim, I just started writing their bios. You know, one of my main goals when writing their bios was to one-up Viso, because again, I thought it'd be just ironic if they were cooler characters than him. This especially shows in Tico's bio, which starts with how he does outrank Viso, just because I'm petty. The ranks, I'm guessing. They're Marine ranks. In Warframe, we really don't get a lot of Corpus ranks, at least as far as I know. I haven't yet played the Index, so maybe there are ranked characters in the Index, but as far as I know, the only two characters with ranks are Captain Vala Glarios, who seems really cool, and Viso-R refers to himself as Corpus Tech First Class. I was originally going to put that as a private first class, but when I was looking into the Marine ranks, engineers start at second lieutenant, so I figured Viso's a technician. He's probably then, and then he calls himself first class. He's probably a first lieutenant. He does seem to have some rank to him, so that's how. So Tico is a captain because of that. I also mentioned, so one of the big things people make a big deal about is how Viso defeated a jackal by himself. So Tico, on the other hand, he defeats jackals for fun. It's part of his training. You know, he forces his team to fight against jackals as well. So he's done a ton of jackals. If he ever met Viso, he'd probably kick his feet out from under him and call him Jackal Boy. I also wanted to not have them ever meet Viso, so it would add to the irony. These three characters who've never heard of Viso-R, and yet Viso is being constantly referred to by their names. I did change that slightly with Yeso, the character I created today. Yeso is a name of my own creation. He does not outrank Viso. He actually is lower ranked than Viso. I might change this though. I don't like to include canon characters in my own creation. It seems kind of like a cheap hit. I purposely was not including Viso, other than to be like, yeah, well, Viso does that, well, Tico is better. But Shadow of Hawk 551 drove me to include Viso. So Yeso, when he served under Alad V, he liked to, so he uses what's called a Prova, which is kind of like a electric cattle prod, but more powerful. So Yeso would set the setting at just high enough to shock technicians, but not enough to knock them out. And so I joked that Yeso liked to do that to Viso, and his record probably consists of, assaulted a superior officer, Viso-R, assaulted a superior officer, Viso-R. And so, like, Tico would be like, dear God, what did this Viso-R do to you? And Yeso would be like, he was born. But I'm probably going to remove that simply because, as I said, I don't like to include canon characters. It seems like a cheap shot, and it takes away from the irony that this is a team of Corpus who never met Viso, and yet somehow they're tied to him by this mistaken identity thing. The whole team is meant to be kind of a Corpus ATeam, and it's Corpus ATeam with a combination of Destiny 2 Fire Team, because a Fire Team in Destiny 2 has 6 people. Tico in particular, he's basically, if you were to take Hannibal Smith and turn him Corpus, it would be Captain Tico. He's a kind of unconventional Corpus who knows how to get things done, but does it in his own way. I'm trying to fit as much as possible into what we know about the Corpus, but also take into account the events of the new war and how, the Corpus were in hiding. And so they're doing quick strike missions to try and free what are called veiled Corpus. So they have this thing on their face that makes them kind of obedient to the Narmer. So they're trying to rescue as many Corpus as possible. One change I did do was, so people think that the Corpus is one big united front, but they're really not. There's a whole bunch of different groups in the Corpus, run by different companies. So like Anio Corp by Nafanio, and my team works for Frode Beck, Darvo Beck's father, because Frode Beck seems still kind of cool. But one of the change in attitudes that Tico has had is the idea that, Corpus is Corpus, because right now he's like, when they point out that they're about to rescue a group of Corpus from Anio Corp, and like, but they don't work for Frode Beck. And he's like, the sentients don't care about that. Corpus is Corpus. So his new motto is like, Corpus is Corpus, and they're just focused on just rescuing as much Corpus as possible. They might even go so far as to rescue Grenier, simply because by taking away from the Narmer, it's less enemies they have to face. So if they find like Grenier captured by the Narmer, they might rescue them simply because they don't want them to get veiled and end up having to fight them later, just to make their life easier. But they're this small strike team. They're kind of like I said, the Corpus ATeam, and they go out there. They have basically free reign. They don't really answer to anybody. I mean, technically they do. They're supposed to answer to someone, but since they always, come with results, they're just left to their own devices. That's basically it. It's just fun. I love my job. Don't get me wrong. I really like my job. People have joked, wouldn't you want to live stream full time and get paid to do that? And it's like, not really. It's just, sometimes it's not very mentally challenging. So getting to make up these characters has added to making things interesting. I'm probably going to end up with 6 or 8 because I do want a munitions officer and a pilot, and we'll see. But this is what I've been keeping myself busy with. Last week it was the Corpus language. This week it's my Corpus Commando unit. Yeah. One thing also, I was afraid that people would think that I'm creating a team of Gary Sues, Mary Sue, male Mary Sues. But one of the things to keep in mind is Tico was very picky. And he looked for a long time, and he looked for the best of the best that he could find. He also picked misfits and people who he saw something in. So like Yeso. Yeso nearly ended up in the index. He he said some things he probably should not have said to Alad V. And he did like to torment technicians. I just didn't specify that Visa was among them. Like I said, I'm probably going to remove that because it feels like a cheap shot to include Viso. So, Tika heard about him and was like, he took him in because he was Solaris and he managed to pay off his debt and become one of the taxmen. Or then there's Tiso, who's the sniper who started out as a technician but sucked and hated it. And one day he picked up a sniper rifle and just turned out he had natural talent. Now it isn't like Mary Sue kind of natural talent. He showed a proclivity towards it, but he's been training a very long time. So it isn't that he just picked it up and he immediately became one of the top Corpus snipers. No, he's been working very hard at it as well. So now he's one of the top Corpus snipers, probably in the top 1%, but nobody knows about him because he's just really quiet. Alad V dismissed him as a lousy tech and never really looked back. So Captain Tico was easily able to steal him from under Alad V and give him a promotion. The fact that he's still listed as Corpus Tech First Class just shows you what kind of attitude Tiso has. He just, if he were to have his record updated, he would probably get a massive pay raise, but Tiso likes to keep to himself. So that's Tiso just being Tiso. Vico's a tech like Viso, but he wears red, and Viso's actually supposed to be wearing red because techs wear red. So that's why I also was very particular about the characters' colors, the colors of their suits, because the colors actually have a reason. Captain Tico wears blue because that's the color of an elite crewman. Tiso wears yellow. Yeso wears green, and Vico wears red. So I paid particular attention to that. At the end of the day, I've probably spent more time creating this elite, commando unit than DE focused on Viso, at least as a character. Maybe programming him, no. It just seemed like a fun idea. I even have whole stories in my head about them. Like I said, I did this with my Guardian in Destiny. I can tell you about his past and interactions with other characters. And so it's the same with these guys. I'm actually enjoying creating these characters more. Anyway, this was the original video, or a little bit more, or a little bit less to it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Should I continue creating these characters? I'm thinking 6 or maybe 8. You want to hear more about them? Let me know down in the comments below. And hope to see you in the tower.